shove Juck, I almost said a different word. Jack wasn't even here to witness that one. He would have been like, you know what I'm talking about though, okay? You know what I'm talking about. Gonna get myself into trouble. It's the last thing you see when you go to sleep and the first thing you see when you wake up, and yet so many people. Well, hello and welcome back to the House of Valentina. I'm Valentina, and today I want to talk about some bedroom mistakes that I see people making all the time, some that I've made myself. I've literally just been styling up my bedroom, so the bedroom is on my brain, and if you want to be able to see a full tour of my space, make sure you hit subscribe so you won't miss out on that upcoming video. But it's really gotten me thinking. I just walked into my bedroom the other day and I was just looking at it and I was like, you know what? I'm just not really happy with the way it looks right now, and I really just need to do something. I hadn't really done much with it after the holidays, and it just was feeling, I don't know, a little bit underwhelming for me, and it just wasn't doing it for me. So I thought it might be helpful for me to share with you what things I noticed in my own space and share with you some of the other things that I see people doing that really keep them from getting that really amazing space. I think today's video will be really helpful, at least I hope it will be, and it'll load you up on lots of tips and tricks that'll really get you feeling super inspired to go into your bedroom and get it looking amazing. So yeah, don't forget, hit subscribe, and let's jump into today's video. Cheers. One of the biggest mistakes I see people making is not hanging curtains in their bedrooms. So a lot of times people will do things that just really downgrade a space and really just make it feel not very serene. I always think about hotels and how they always have curtains up, and it really makes the room feel really soft. It makes it feel very inviting. And a lot of times people will they'll tack up sheets, they'll use whatever blinds that came with the house, and those things can just really downgrade the room, especially the metal blinds and sometimes even plantation shutters. I know they are expensive to put in, but they also take a lot of the light out of the room, and you might want to actually be able to have some of that natural sunlight coming into your space. So I prefer most of the time to hang curtains. I think if you can have them custom made, that is the most ideal because they're made just for your space. But if you're working on a super tight budget, don't be afraid to shop at places like IKEA and Amazon, because they do have some really great panels and you can really upgrade your bedroom with those. I think doubling them also makes a really big difference, instead of just having one panel for each side of the window. Or a lot of times people buy one panel per window and it's just one that really doesn't give you that really high-end sophisticated feel. Instead, I suggest make sure you have at least one panel for each side, but think about doubling each side and hanging the rod slightly over the window itself so there's room to really get all that light into the space, and it'll trick the eye into thinking that you have a bigger window than what's actually there. Now, in my bedroom, I also have a door, and the painter's coming this week, so stay tuned. I'll be sharing this with you very soon. But I actually had a custom shade made for my door because there was a blind that was on there and it was just destroyed. It looked terrible. And I was trying to figure out what I was gonna do. First of all, I was gonna buy a new door and blah, blah, blah. Ultimately, I felt like just buying a shade for that door really made a big difference. So if you don't want to have curtains, or if you don't want to have to pull them shut at the end of the day, I think having a nice Roman shade that's got a nice backing on it I need to drink some more of my coffee, that is a blackout liner, that has made such a difference in the evenings. It's great because I can pull it up during the day, but in the evenings, that blackout backing really blocks out the light, and I love it. So you can do custom, but you could also look at places like Pottery Barn. I've never bought them off of Amazon, but they do sell them there if you want to try something less expensive. But I do think that you could do shades and curtains, or just curtains, just depending on your situation. But yeah, it really does upgrade your space and it really makes a huge difference. One of the biggest mistakes that people make in their bedrooms all the time, is that they don't upgrade their bedding. They don't upgrade the inserts. That's the biggest thing, or their bedding. And this makes a huge, huge difference in your space. So I'm gonna give a big shout out and a thank you to Brooklinen, who has very kindly sponsored our video. They have very kindly sent me an extra one of their ultra warm down comforters. I have one of these on my bed that I've been using for months, and I love it. This is amazing because it really helps keep your body temperature regulated. It's not heavy as far as weight, but it's warm, and so it's ideal. It is absolutely amazing, and it really upgraded my room when I got this because it really helps fill out the duvet. They also sent me their duvet and sheet sets, and I've had those now for well over a year, and I absolutely love them. Their sheets are incredible. I love their blankets. They've got gorgeous blankets as well. I have all that on my bed, and I'm just such a fan of this brand. They're based out of Brooklyn, and they wanted to bring luxury products to us without a huge markup, and they nail it because their products are amazing. So they've got amazing inserts, sheets, pillowcases, and actually you've got to check out their pillow inserts as well because these are also amazing. They have different types of pillows that rate whether you want it to be more firm or softer. Same with the duvet. You can also choose whether you want it to be cooler or warmer. So you can really customize your bed. This will make the biggest difference. I have put Brooklinen into so many of my clients' homes. Of course, I love it, but my clients love it too because they see pretty quickly once we upgrade their pillow inserts and the duvet inserts and the sheet sets, they are like, whoa, it's life altering. Of course, your sleep is super important. You need to be able to rest and rejuvenate, and it's such an important aspect of your home life. And so yes, I am thrilled with my Brooklinen experience myself, and so are my clients. So Brooklinen has very kindly hooked us up with a great discount code. So not only can you upgrade your space, but you can also save while you do it. Right now, Brooklinen is having their annual President's Day sale. This is a great time to get a deal on their bed sheets, towels, and stock up on your favorites for 2023. All Brooklinen products are 15% off on their site using my link below. I'll have all of that linked down below for you guys to check out, and I'll make sure to include the items that I currently have literally on my bed. I'll make sure to link everything up for you so you guys can see what my personal favorites are, but there's so many, I'm not gonna be able to link up everything. I have a lot of sheets from them, and I really love them. But I do think that upgrading your inserts and upgrading your bedding will make a huge difference in your space, and it's a mistake that a lot of people make, that they think they can just get by with what they have, and I think it's an instant upgrade and one that'll really help you to sleep better as well. Another big mistake that I see all the time is that people just don't lay down rugs. It's one of those things, people just don't think to lay, I don't know if people don't think to lay them down, or if they don't know what to pick, or what size to go with, but generally a lot of people don't put rugs down in their bedroom, and I think that's a big mistake because a rug can make a really big difference in your room. Or I mean, if you have one that's really ratty and just one of my clients, we're working on her room right now, and the dog literally ate her rug. So she was like, this has to go. So those are the kinds of things that I think if you leave them, they just make your space feel like something. I hear people say all the time, when they don't make these upgrades to their room, that they avoid the spaces. And since your bedroom is this really important part of your home, I think doing these things for your bedroom is really important. You need to want to go in there, okay? So switch out the rug. It's such an easy change to make in your room. An 8x10 is a good starting point for an average bedroom with a full queen or a king bed. An 8x10 is a good place to start. You won't want anything smaller than that, ever. Now, if you do have a really big room, you may want to think about doubling the rug. Maybe you'll have an 8x10 underneath the bed. You could go up a size with a king size bed, but if you've got a really big room, you might want to think about having a smaller rug right underneath the bed area, and then a larger rug that really fills out the space a lot more. Otherwise, it's going to feel a little bit like it's an island. But either way, I suggest shopping for rugs. I have an entire list of rugs that I love on Amazon if you're really sticking to a tight budget. Of course, if you have a lot more money to spend, there's all kinds of great shops online where you can buy beautiful handmade rugs. You can also shop for one-of-a-kinds on First Dibs and really create a beautiful plush space for you to be able to walk on, and also something that really just, it really anchors the design itself. It almost feels like there's just nothing there. If it just feels like everything's just sort of floating if you don't have a rug. But even if you have carpet, this is one of the questions you guys always ask. What do I do if I have carpet? You can put a rug on carpet. I suggest you really need to make sure that it's a nice heavy weight. So even just a heavier shag, a nice plush rug itself has got at least half an inch. Just look at the weight of them. I would actually check on Pottery Barn. It's a good spot to look at rugs, and Our House is another one where they include the weights as well. It'll make it a little bit easier for you to see that these are a lot higher quality, and that's what you're kind of looking for, something that will stay put on top of the carpet. Otherwise, if it's too thin, it just ends up bunching up underneath the legs of the bed or whatever furniture you have in the room, and it just bubbles and becomes actually a tripping hazard. So that's not good. We definitely want to avoid that, and you avoid it by making sure that your rug is thick and heavy. Not adding enough light is another big problem, because if your room is really dark, I get it, right? You're going to sleep in there, but if your room is too dark, then it just gets kind of creepy. So when we first moved into our house, my youngest, his sister went and hid in the bedroom. We didn't have any lights in the bedroom other than the one that was on a fan that was really, really dim. It was the only light we had in there, and she went in and hid in the room, even with the light on, and he went in there, and she scared him, and he's been creeped out ever since with that room. And I feel so bad, but I'm like, it was creepy in our room when we first moved in, because the only light that was in the space was a fan, and that had that like that glass that's like kind of frosted in that creamy kind of color. So even with the light on, it didn't even seem like there was light in there. And so it was super creepy. So I think that it's a huge thing that you really need to change, is to make sure that your lighting is, you gotta have enough light. Okay, you need to have ambient light, if you ask me. I think that the bedroom is a great place to think about having your lights on dimmers, especially the chandelier. You could put some beautiful sconces up on the wall. Again, places like Home Depot and places like Pottery Barn are great places to start. A place that I shop all the time is a place like Visual Comfort, because they have a lot of really beautiful designer pieces. And of course, you could always go for a one-of-a-kind and go somewhere like First Dibs or Cherish. And a lot of those places you can find artists that have made beautiful lighting that's one-of-a-kind. So it really doesn't matter where you're gonna shop though. Making sure that you've got table lamps on your nightstands, have a lamp on your dresser, think about maybe even adding some sconces, a beautiful chandelier overhead. And even if you have the budget, you may even want to go for some art lighting or some recessed lighting in your space. Put as many of those on dimmers as you can. That way you can kind of control the light in the room. But lighting is huge. We definitely don't want the bedroom to be creepy, because yeah, nobody likes that. Okay, so another big mistake. This is always a mistake that I'm always like, I don't get it, because this is how I like to, I don't know. This is just something that I've always been passionate about. I absolutely love putting in decor. So a lot of times when I go into someone's home, I walk in and there's zero decor in the room. They haven't dressed the bed, other than they have like a sleeping pillow, maybe for each of them if it's a couple, and they might have a chair, but there's really not all, like, and the bed, maybe there's some nightstands, but literally there's like nothing else in the room. It's just really deflated feeling. And a lot of times clients will even just hire me just to come in and dress the room, because it just looks a little bit soulless. It's like not putting on any jewelry or a watch or a belt or anything on an outfit. We do the same thing in our spaces. Well, okay, other people do this. This is not a mistake that I really make, because I like to buy decor. I grew up always going out with my mom, and we always decorated. Like, that was the part that was really fun to me. So this is not a mistake that I typically make. If anything, maybe I over accessorize my spaces. I'd be more guilty of that. You definitely don't want too many accessories where you just can't lay your cup down. You know, if you've got a cup of coffee and you're having breakfast in bed and there's nowhere to put anything because there's so much stuff everywhere, that's not really good either. But I really think that a few accessories really can take a simple furniture package from just being nice to, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I think that's what your accessories really can do to your space. So I would think about adding a really nice vase. I still love to shop at Pottery Barn for vases if I'm looking for something that's a little bit more affordable but still has a great quality to it. Of course, there's a lot of designer places. I love Arteriors. Their vases are just gorgeous, and I have a lot of favorites as well. I love to shop on some of the designer shops, and I like to look for handmade items. But I'll link all of these things up for you down below in the show notes so that you can shop all of my favorites. But the main thing is just to have a vase that really is something that's really stand out, something that really is significant, and that you'll be able to change the florals in throughout the seasons. Then I would suggest having maybe some books in your space. I know it seems like, oh, books in the bedroom. It really just dresses up the dresser. You could have a tray as well. A tray is another nice accessory to have in your bedroom. Again, lamps like we talked about, and then maybe just some decorative items. I love having like some concrete spheres, some beautiful bowls, just a couple things. You don't need a million things to accessorize your space. You need, generally for most bedrooms, you need about 10 decor items. You could always add more, but at least a few that really just fill out the space and make it feel like it's just got those finishing touches that really just make it cozy and homey. I think not adding storage is a huge bedroom mistake, and most people don't want to talk about it, but it's something that we all just really need in the bedroom, and that is storage. It's one of those practical things that a lot of times people don't think about until they've already bought all their furniture, and they're like, uh-oh, I don't have enough room for my clothes. I don't have anywhere to store the sheets. I don't have anywhere to store my nighttime rituals, whether it's lotions. I like to perfume myself and spritz myself before I go to bed. The things that you guys, everybody has things that go into the bedroom. And so a lot of times, people will just buy nightstands that don't have any storage in them, and then their stuff's just laying everywhere. If you aren't a super neat and tidy person and you're prone to just leaving things out all over the place, I think having a drawer for your nightstand would be really important. I'm a little bit more of like a tidy kind of person, so I would grab things off of that and maybe stick them back in the dresser. I'm currently trying to not have this nightstand with a drawer, and I'm like, we'll see how this goes. Because I really put to use those drawers and the nightstands. So I will report back when we do the bedroom tour. But generally, you really need to think about how much storage do you need. Now, a lot of times people actually go out and they buy these huge bedroom packages that come with a lot of furniture. So they'll have a big, huge dresser, and then a tall dresser, and then they have nightstands with storage. So they have the opposite problem. They have so much space to shove junk. I almost said a different word. Jack wasn't even here to witness that one. He would have been like, you know what I'm talking about though, okay? You know what I'm talking about. Gonna get myself into trouble. When you have drawers, a lot of times you fill them with stuff that you don't need. So I think you need to find the balance. You need to be realistic about making sure you have enough storage for the things that you do actually need to put away, but also don't just go out and buy a huge matching set of furniture and then you've got just drawers everywhere. I was trying to have all the drawers and all the storage. As it turns out, they mostly were just empty. I just didn't need all of that storage in my space, so I decided to switch out the nightstands with just a pretty, like, statement nightstand. I'll let you know if I like it, but I think it is, I already like the way it looks, that not everything in the room is matching. So you could maybe give up one of the tall dressers and put down a bench with a big piece of artwork over it rather than having yet another really big piece of furniture in the room. And instead of nightstands, if you don't have a lot of stuff to put in them or you don't mind just grabbing it in the morning and putting it away somewhere, I would think about maybe having more of a visually pretty nightstand. Otherwise, I think most people are better off having some good nightstands with some storage and then at least a dresser. But they don't all have to match, which is always the question you guys want to ask me. They don't have to match. I do like when there is cohesion between them. And so generally I will at least match the color tones, or with the nightstands, I'll go with something completely different, but then the dresser, if there's more than one in the room, I'm gonna match them, most likely. And then the nightstands can be something different. But I don't personally tend to put a lot of different dressers and nightstands and all different ones, I personally don't like that look. I mean, it's not against the decorating rules to have all different things, right? Like, why do we get caught up in what we're supposed to do, right? But I do think that there are things that are pleasing to our eye, and that's what we're trying to get at. Spend your money well, right? Having a dresser and maybe the nightstands that match, maybe 2 pieces in the room that match, and then the 3rd piece needs to be something different, because if they all just match, it just looks like a rooms to go showroom. Which actually a lot of their stuff now, they don't even do matching stuff anymore, but a lot of places just sold like the whole bedroom suite, and I think those days are kind of over. Like, that style is just a little bit stuffy feeling, and it lacks a little bit of interest and creativity. So yeah, well, we went off on a real tangent there with the bedroom, the bedroom storage one. Some other ways to add storage into your bedroom would be a great basket for some extra blankets. I think a bench with some storage in it as well. Also, maybe having some underbed storage. I have all of my weights underneath my bed, so I don't need anything like that, but they do sell some nice baskets that you can put underneath the bed if you need more storage and you're really tight on space. And of course, don't forget that you could also add a beautiful cabinet into your room. You could add a library if you've got, some of you have huge rooms. So why not have a library in your room and have some beautiful bookshelves full of things, or some glass cased bookshelves? You got a lot of options. And just because it's a bedroom doesn't mean that the only thing you can put in there is a dresser and 2 nightstands. There are other options out there. So finally, let's wrap up with art. Like, why don't you have art in your room? Why do so many people not have art in their room? Like, this is the place, it's the last thing you see when you go to sleep and the first thing you see when you wake up, and yet so many people forget to put artwork up on their walls. They just either forget, or they don't know what to buy, and they just feel confused about it. So instead, I think spend some time. Honestly, take some time and think about what style you really like. I think that somewhere like Pottery Barn and Our House, those 2 sites are really good, and West Elm is another favorite. Those sites are really good for getting a lot of ideas of what kind of art is out there. Of course, you can spend a lot more money and go one of a kind, or support an artist on First Dibs and get something extraordinary. But if you're working on a budget and you're just trying to figure out what kind of art you like, I would look on those sites and start getting a clue as to what you really love. I think having some really large canvases that are painted looks amazing in the bedroom. I think that you don't have to just have framed art that's, you know, behind glass. You could go for some beautiful oversized art pieces, fill out your walls, especially above the bed. That's definitely, I think, a very American thing. You guys can let me know if that's true or not. I know a lot of Americans like to have one really big piece of art over the bed. Let me know if that's normal in your country or what people normally do, because you guys come from all over the planet, so it's really fun to hear from you. When we lived in Scandinavia, a lot of times people would put one small print over the bed, or they'd leave it empty. But I think it's nice to have a nice big piece over the bed. But you guys can let me know what you think down in the comments. I can't wait to hear everything you guys have to say. I'm gonna leave everything linked up down below, including, make sure you check out that discount code with Brooklinen. That's gonna be amazing, and it's great that you guys are gonna be able to save all that money. You're gonna absolutely love their products. That's not just an upgrade to make it pretty, it's also one that really makes your space comfortable and will help you to sleep better. I think it's really, really important. It's a self-care thing. I think it's really important. So I'm gonna leave all of that link down below for you guys. If you haven't hit subscribe already, we would love for you to hit subscribe. Help us to get the 350,000 subscribers. I can't believe we're almost there as it is. So thank you so much for all of you who have hit subscribe already. And just we just have this amazing community. You guys are so, you're just awesome, because I love reading all your comments and seeing all the conversations and how you guys are getting to know each other, even in the comments, and it just delights my heart that I'm here, that I get to be a part of such a cool community. So thank you so much for that. Well, thank you so much for joining me for today. I'm going to sit and sip my coffee and leave you with another video suggestion. I'll see you guys in the next one.